One Nation, One Poll. The latest that is coming in is that the panel headed by Ram Nath Kovind, the former president, has now submitted the report to the president. It is a 1800-page report that has been submitted to President Droupadi Murmu. So, tracking the details of that report, the high-level committee on simultaneous elections, that is, of course, helmed by former President Ram Nath Kovind. They met the president at Rashtrapati Bhavan and has now submitted the report. In fact, those are the first visuals that you see of the panel helmed by Ram Nath Kovind that has submitted the report to the president. We see Union Home Minister as well, along with the former President Ram Nath Kovind, that is seen submitting the 1800-page report to President Droupadi Murmu. So all the panel members met President Droupadi Murmu as they submitted that 1800-page report, which has been put out after 191 days of extensive and exhaustive research. We will try and go across and get more details of what this report entails, but note that Ram Nath Kovind, the former president, has helmed this panel on One Nation, One Poll. And let's go across to Shravan also, who's joining us from the newsroom. Shravan, if you can take us through the details of this report, which we understand is more than 1800 pages long. As we understand, it's now been submitted by the panel members led by Ram Nath Kovind to the president of the country.
Well, in fact, the full report runs over 18,000 pages. There was extensive consultation that was done by the committee. In fact, they've also looked into various other models, particularly the German model. It was something that was deliberated for over a very long period of time. But remember, that doesn't really apply when it comes to our system in place. But let me just quickly take you through some of the recommendations that have been made by the committee, because there's also going to be an implementation group. In fact, I'm given to understand an implementation group will also be looking into this entire matter. Let me just quickly take you through some of the recommendations that have been made. These are the recommendations that starts from page number 275 of the report. And this clearly says that this committee essentially finds that it is beneficial if the country actually goes in for simultaneous elections. So I'm just reading out verbatim from the report, where it says the committee finds that the loss of simultaneity in elections after the first 2 decades of India's independence has had a painful effect on economy, polity and society. The committee therefore recommends that the government must develop a legally tenable mechanism in order to restore the cycle of simultaneous elections. Clearly, the first recommendation is to basically find a way to ensure that there is a proper cycle. We'll get into the cycle bit in a short while from now. They are saying, the committee says that simultaneous elections to the House of the People and the State Legislative Assembly to be held. Now, not just the Lok Sabha, but we are also looking at the municipalities as well as panchayats. They too will be synchronized. They too will be synchronized with the House of the People and the State Legislative Assembly. Now, there too there is a rider, Samiksha. Let's move to the next page, where they talk about what is the time frame within which the elections are supposed to happen. That is the difference between the municipalities and panchayats. Now, this is what they say, that the elections to municipalities and panchayats are held within 100 days of the holding of elections of the House of the People and the State Legislative Assemblies. They also say that the implementation group will be looking into it, constituted, that should look into the execution of the recommendations given by the committee. Largely, if you see, this committee has gone into the impact that it has on the economy in terms of if you have elections through the year, and the tenure is another big concern. So that too has been answered, like when does the assembly get dissolved and when do they actually hold the general elections, to which they are saying that the tenure of all state legislative assemblies constituted by the elections to the state legislative assemblies after the appointed date and before the expiry of the full term of the House of the People shall be only for the period ending up to the subsequent general elections to the House of the People. Thereafter, all general elections to be the House of the People and all state legislative assemblies shall be held together simultaneously. So ideally, what they're basically recommending is to bring all the state assemblies on the same very platform and thereafter, synchronize the general elections as well as the state legislative elections, and within a period of 100 days, you also bring in the municipalities as well as panchayat elections. Now, this is just a brief that we have been able to go through. In a short while from now, we're going to also put out full details of the report that has been submitted and the full report also to be uploaded on our website, which is going to put out all the details of the findings of this very committee.
Right, Shravan, stay with us. So this is 18,626 page report. If you can tell us, if you can put this in context again for our viewers, which were the stakeholders that were really taken into consideration, the views of these stakeholders, one, and also when can we really expect this one nation, one poll to be implemented, given that the report has now been submitted to the President?
Well, there is a time period that has already been given, so you're not really looking at a near future when we're going to have a one nation, one poll happening. But the process has already begun. The ball is rolling right now. Given the fact that the committee has already recommended that the need of the hour is to basically look into one nation, one poll, primarily because if you have elections spread across, then it has a direct impact on the economy too. However, the opposition parties haven't been extremely happy about it because they say that this gives an edge to the ruling party. The regional parties are at a complete loss. Now, those are some aspects that have also been covered in this particular report. But remember, this report has just come into our newsroom right now. We haven't been able to go through every page of this report. We are primarily going through the recommendation. The key takeaways, if I may say so, yes, this committee believes that a one nation, one poll is certainly feasible. But in order to smoothen the process, an implementation group has been brought in. They will be looking into the fact that when can this actually begin, because keeping in mind, remember, the tenure of different assemblies will not be matching, and that is the reason why the argument that has been put forth, how exactly will you bring all the state assemblies on the same platform? How do you actually start the tenure of all the assemblies together, that too along with the general elections that are to take place? So all that put together, yes, those recommendations have also been made, but unfortunately right now, Samiksha, we've not been able to go through all the pages of this report, which deals into the tenure aspect also.
Right, stay with us, Shravan, while you go through those key excerpts. Let's go across to Harsha as well. Harsha, if you can once again talk to us about the stakeholders who were really considered while this report was being made, one, and what is the kind of procedure that's going to be followed here on now that the report has been submitted to the President?
So, Samisha, to tell you precisely that the notification on the One Nation, One Committee last year on 2nd September 2023, it came. And after that, several rounds of meeting happened between the committee members. And after that, the several stakeholders were also called to tell you that there were retired justices, retired Supreme Court justices, the academicians, and also the political parties as well. Several state political parties, regional parties were also consulted about the One Nation, One poll. But to tell you that there were several regional parties which were not in favor of the One Nation, One poll. But government since the formation in 2014 only, first time government stated that it's very important for the country to conduct One Nation, One poll for the betterment of the country. And also this model is being highly applicable, and right now it's also working in several other countries as well. And therefore, when there was a meeting with the stakeholders, the suggestion was that why don't we use the German model? The panel discussed about the German model of the One Nation, about the simultaneous poll, but it didn't go well with the tenets of Indian Indian democracy, and therefore it was stated that we can't use German model, we should not go with German model, and the panel rather insisted on the changes in the 5 articles of the constitution. If that 5 article changes are made, then it's very possible and it could enable for the singular election in our country for Lok Sabha, state election, municipality and the panchayat election as well. Right now, Samiksha, after independence, our country has seen 400 election, and lot of money also goes into the planning preparation of election, and to shortcut on the money and to to use less money and not to waste money, it's very important that the election should happen simultaneously, and that was a recommendation made by the panel as well. Right now, the country will go for the Lok Sabha election in next month in April, and after that, soon near future, it's not possible to go for the one nation one poll. But the government is expecting that after next year, the discussions would start on how one nation one poll could be. One nation one poll. The country could go for one nation one poll. Also, we got to know that several opposition leaders were also consulted regarding one nation one poll. We have got to know that the panel has suggested that the first step in this one nation one poll will be Lok Sabha and state assembly going for the polls together, and in the gap of 100 days, the local body election, which includes municipality, panchayat election, will go for poll. So this is a strategy which could be used, but yes, more meetings could happen in coming frame of time. But today the breaking update is that the committee has submitted its report to President Droupadi Murmu, and the recommendations have been made. More than 18,926 pages. It's the report, which is in 8 sections in the pages. Back to you.